I hope that every filmmaker comes across a moment like I did a few years ago, where they find a piece of gear or equipment or a camera that fits their style and work like a glove. A piece of technology that becomes harmonious with their filmmaking. That camera for me was the Ursa Mini Pro, specifically the G2. But sadly, after taking her probably through every single bad environment possible, my poor Ursa last year on a commercial shoot finally bit the dust. This beautiful camera is no longer of this mortal coil. So I'd love to give a proper farewell to one of my favorite pieces of equipment of all time. You know what's funny? A lot of people on YouTube said this camera is not a looker. She has no sex appeal or whatever. But first of all, that's a weird thing to say about a camera. And also, what does that even mean? Ergonomically, how this thing's built, how tactile it is, how accessible the button functions and everything is. I love this camera. It feels like an operator's dream. And as somebody who operated the hell out of it, yeah, I must agree with myself. Beyond really silly characteristics like whether or not the body of the camera looks good, what about what the camera actually offered? I was using the Pocket Cinema cameras for the longest time. I got the original Pocket 4K when it came out, and I used it on a ton of stuff, but I always felt like something was missing. Obvious stuff, built-in ND filters, a few extra stops of dynamic range, some different shooting options, and something that felt more built out for the stuff that I wanted to be doing. And lo and behold, the Ursa Mini Pro feels like that natural evolution of the Pocket, even though the Pocket came after the Ursa. It has the dynamic range that puts itself in the same fighting class as something like a Red camera, in my opinion. I know some people are going to fight me on that because of its shadow detail, but I still stand by that, especially in its highlights. But moving on from that. I could get just above a 4K image with it. I could shoot cleanly in anamorphic modes with it. I had slow motion out the wazoo with it. And something I loved is I no longer have 20,000 cables going through this camera. I now have a one and done system where I can put a V-mount in the back, give it a top handle, throw a lens on it, and then I could whatever, shoulder rig, easy rig, tripod, whatever. This thing was ready to be a true cinema camera at all times. And even with something like the menu of this thing, this is the easiest menu I have ever used in my life. I talked a lot about how I really enjoyed the Sony Venice and its menu system. I enjoy the ARRI systems, but nothing, and I mean nothing, is gonna beat this Ursa Mini, or quite frankly, any of the newer Blackmagic cameras, and how easy it is to go through their settings and get your camera dialed in like that. And I first fell in love with this thing all the way back in 2017, when I first had the chance to shoot with the original Ursa Mini Pro. In fact, I shot my first truly budgeted short film on the Ursa Mini Pro. And that was back when I thought I knew nothing, just a few things about film, but man, I cannot get over this imagery. I mean, that was back in the day where I was so obsessed with like, oh man, I need to find something that looks like an ARRI camera, or I need to just use an ARRI camera. And I was so fixated on the branding of things. But when I shot with this thing, the colors it captured and the image that just came right out of the box, and how it really suited my love for natural light and natural locations, wow. My worries and dreams of needing an ARRI image were gone. This thing got me exactly what I wanted. And it only made sense that when I acted as a DP on the next big short film I was a part of, the Ursa Mini Pro was the go-to option. And with a little more knowledge under my belt in cinematography, it just blew me away with the image it was able to capture, and that was with not that much G&E at all.
For the lovers.
And so after using the Pocket on a bunch of dock work, on a bunch of work for the military and some travel work, I ended up overseas in 2021 and I was making decent money. I was saving up a lot and I hit up my boy Mikey, who I knew he was trying to sell his Ursa. I said, hey, I'll take that Ursa off your hands. Bought that bad boy, had him ship it all the way to Kuwait, and I got right to shooting with it. This thing got thrown immediately into the harsh climate of the desert, shooting flawlessly well above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, never dropping a frame, keeping battery life, shooting at full resolution, at 3:1 compression, and the way it controlled an image like a desert at freaking noon, and how it could really help make something like common Canon L series glass really sing. I finally felt like this filmmaker I had become now had the gear that matched the abilities that I was really trying to build to. The gear and the skills were finally fully in sync, and that is a wonderful feeling as an owner-operator of a camera system. Short films, documentaries, branded work, my own little random stuff, military work, and even commercial, this thing would be a workhorse for me until that fateful day in 2024, literally in the middle of one of my bigger commercial shoots I've ever been a part of. It just died because of this moment right here. That, my friends, is a big old mud wave from a speeding JLTV, and it got me and my camera absolutely caked in this wonderful, muddy, crusty crap. And even after getting this camera professionally cleaned after that and doing some follow-up cleaning myself, somehow the inside still got fried and she won't turn on, just to find out that the motherboard and the circuitry within it is fried. And even to this day, as I shoot with the Venice, I shoot with an FX3, I shoot with an FX6, and sometimes branch out into other camera bodies, I cannot explain to you how badly I wish I could go back to shooting with this thing. Or at least just shoot one more short with it, just because of how easy it felt to get the image I was looking for. And yet, even with specifically the G2 model being pretty damn cheap online, a full kit being under $5,000 and extremely accessible to anybody trying to get their hands on a new cinema camera, this might sound coy, but it felt like, you know what, maybe it's time to branch onto a new piece of equipment. Because, yeah, she did get a little heavy sometimes, so maybe I did want a lighter camera. Maybe I did something that allowed me to have autofocus when I'm doing the solo work or YouTube work. And maybe I wanted to branch into more larger upper echelon cinema bodies for other work. And I did. I followed the signs and now I'm a cursed Sony boy. But I don't regret it at all. The things I'm getting on the cameras and the gear and the lenses and the lighting that I'm using now, they make me happy. They are my style. I feel good. It feels like I'm only moving forward in my career. But I'll tell you what, if this thing didn't keel over, I 100% would still be using it. Because I told everyone I knew, I am going to shoot with this Ursa until the day it dies on me. And that is exactly what I did. And now I would say to you, if you are looking to get a cinema camera that feels like a true cinema camera, nothing pocket about it, no workarounds, no cutting corners on the design or anything like that, that gets you an awesome image, run to eBay right now. Run to Facebook Marketplace, run to any used market, be it B&H, MPB, whatever. I cannot recommend this camera enough as someone's quote-unquote first big boy cinema camera. And I even did a video comparing this specific camera to an FX6 and a Red Komodo. And in that moment, I felt no need to get rid of this camera and go to another system at the time. It literally took the death of this camera for me to say, you know what, let's try something new. But now she sits in my office, looking pretty, acting as a wonderful memory because I'm getting nostalgic and depressing as I get older. And I love looking back at the films I was able to shoot with this camera that I could just grab off the shelf, put in a card, slap on a V-mount, throw a lens on it, and go make some magic happen. And if you can get your hands on a camera system that allows you to just simply run out the house, guns blazing, and getting something just immediately from your head to screen, then that is a piece of equipment worth its weight in gold. Cameras, lights, lenses are all simply here to amplify, leverage, and just help us be the filmmakers that we want to be. I love it, I'll miss it, but I'm enjoying my time with my new equipment, and sometimes it's okay for something to just be a very lovely memory. Damn, I was kind of wondering if it would turn on there. Thank you for letting me get all nostalgic with you and enjoying an old piece of equipment and a little bit of my come up in this filmmaking game. I hope you find yourself a piece of equipment that feels like it's the perfect match for you, and don't stop becoming that filmmaker that you want to be. This has been Davis with the Six Shop. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.